Mr. Kaufman, please come forward. And stop right there, face the clerk, raise your right hand. She will administer the oath.
Do you swear that the testimony you are about to give in this matter is true, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Please have a seat in the witness chair. Mr. Anderson.
Can you please state your first and last name for the record?
Stephen Kaufman,
And how do you spell your last name?
Kaufman.
And do you usually go by Steve or Stephen?
Steve.
Steve, what do you do for a living?
I'm the owner of River's Edge Campground.
What is River's Edge?
River's Edge is a campground and tubing, wedding reception facility.
Okay. And where is it at?
The exact address?
No, just is it in Somerset, the township?
We're in New Richmond.
Okay. And permission to approach?
Yes.
25. Yeah, if you want to come. I'm handing you, it's been marked as exhibit 25. Does that appear to be a map of the route tubers take from your campground?
Yes.
And permission to publish, Judge?
Any objection? All right, you may.
Move to admit also.
Any objection? 25 is received.
So the arrow on the top right, is that where your campground is located?
That is correct.
And is that about where it's pointing where tubers, enter the river?
It would be just to the right or upstream of that arrow. So the arrow would point about where our bridge is, and so just to the right more. In this map, it shows a little island there. It'd be right next to that island.
Okay. You want to actually just come circling on here? Okay, thank you. And you see the arrow marking hideaway? What's that?
That is another campground and tubing facility.
Is that a common place where tubers will stop if they leave from your place?
Yes.
And what's there for, why do tubers tend to stop there? Is there a beach, bar?
They have a bar there, yes.
Okay. And then is the exit where tubers get off of the river identified on that map?
It is.
And is it about where that arrow is, a little off?
Oh, that's about correct.
Okay. And you see where that arrow is that says incident location?
Yes,
Are you familiar with that location of the river also?
I am.
And does that bridge, that 35 bridge, have another name that people call it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Have you heard it referred to as the Sunrise Bridge or no?
I have,
Okay. Don't know
because
why.
there's a campground that used to be called Sunrise Park, and so that's why they call it that.
All right. And then the exit is the Village Park exit?
Correct.
This whole river route, is that in St. Croix County, Wisconsin?
It is.
If you know, how many tubers about would you get on a typical nice weather Saturday in the summer back in 2022?
River's Edge, that day we had approximately 12 to 1,500.
On July 30th, 2022?
That particular day, I thought your question was on a nice
Oh.
weather Saturday.
Okay.
But I don't know the exact number for that day, but I'm believing it was in the 1,000 range.
Okay. And when tubers rent, do they rent tubes from you?
They do.
And would you normally see families? Is it known to be kind of a party scene, family scene, mix?
A little mixed.
Okay.
River's Edge really strives to get as many families as possible, but yeah, you get mixed.
Okay. And when groups tube together, do they often tie their tubes together?
Correct.
Do you guys sell pre-cut string for tubers to do that?
We do.
And you did back in July of 22 also?
Correct.
About how long does it take to tube from the start to the exit?
Takes about 2 to 2.5 hours on a normal day. Of course, that can fluctuate with river levels and the speed of the water, and that would be without stopping.
Okay. So it depends on how fast the current is,
Correct.
and then it depends on how long and how often people stop?
Correct.
And do you happen to know about how long it takes to tube from the 35 bridge to the exit?
It's about 30 minutes.
Okay. And how about from the Hideaway Bar to the 35 bridge?
We have similar time. It is, you can see on the map, it's about similar distance as well, so I'd say 30 to 45 minutes for both of those.
And were you working on July 30th, 2022?
Yes, I was.
And at some point, did you get word of an incident on the river?
I did.
Do you remember what you were doing?
I was on my way to the exit just to check on my staff and check on, we collect the tubes from the tubers and just do a normal check-in, and Mike Cappers happened to be there at his bus stop and told me about it.
And so you guys, for both, and Mike Cappers is the old owner of Hideaway?
Correct.
And so you guys would both, tubers would go down through the river, either through your place or through the Hideaway, and then all of you would pick up at the Village Park?
Correct.
You have buses going back and forth?
Yes.
And where did you go then, once you heard about it?
I went to where he told me the incident had happened, and so I was on my little moped scooter and I drove to the incident.
What was the scene like when you got there?
There were a large police presence and an ambulance, and
Calm, orderly, chaotic?
I wouldn't say it was chaotic. People were moving at a rapid speed, but it seemed organized.
Were tubers still coming through?
No, we had directed everyone to get off at the Hideaway location. By the time I got there, we had already had people directing people off of the river.
And is that something law enforcement asked you to do, or did you just figure you should, if you remember?
I think it was a little of both.
Okay. And at some point, did you get a description of the person who had stabbed people?
I did. When I got to the scene, I ran into a couple who I assumed were husband and wife, and asked them what happened, what was going on. And they said they were tubing with their children, a little upstream from them. They heard some shouting, and by the time they got there, this had happened, and they don't know exactly what had happened. There was a gentleman that they said was middle-aged man that left the scene.
At some point, did you get a photo of the person who was alleged to have been done the stabbings that was going around?
I did then, so maybe 15 to so minutes, 10 minutes later, then Mr. Cappers texted me a photo that had, I don't know where he got it from or how he got it, but said this is a picture of the person.
Did you forward that photo on to your staff?
I did, yes.
And did you also have a friend with you that day?
I did. He wasn't with me, but he was at this location when I got there, so.
What was his name?
Carl Schilling.
And then did you either give or show him the photo?
That time, no,
Did you tell
because
him?
we didn't have it yet. I'd left.
okay.
I had left before I got the photo.
Did you send it to him at some point, if you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. You might have, you might not have.
You're right.
Your friend's name was Carl Schilling, the one that was in the area?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that whether Carl or a staff member later alerted law enforcement to somebody matching the description at the Village Park exit?
I am.
Was that Carl and one of your employees?
Correct.
And I should have clarified, Carl and an employee, two different people.
Correct.
Because Carl's a friend, not an employee.
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys, I forgot to ask this before, do you rent tubes for just people and also for like cooler tubes?
We do rent a cooler tube. It's just another tube with a basket or a space for people to float.
Okay. I don't have anything else.
Mr. Nelson?
Carl Schilling, I want to ask you some questions about him, okay?
Yes.
Was he the guy with the baseball bat that went hunting for Nick Miu?
I wasn't with him, so
Okay, but you heard about that. You're aware that he grabbed a bat and went hunting for Nick, right?
I heard that he had a bat, yes.
Okay. And that at some point, while holding that bat, he confronted Nick Miu
That's what I heard, yes.
at the exit, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I want to ask you some other questions just about the Riverway, okay?
Yes.
You own some property, correct?
Yes.
But the river itself, that's public space, agreed?
Agreed.
Everyone, if once you're on the river, anyone can use it, correct?
Of course.
No one has more right to be on the river than anybody else, right?
No, sir.
You agree?
I agree.
And certainly no one has more claim to a particular space than anyone else, agreed?
Agree.
You've heard the expression, stay in your lane, I would imagine?
Yes.
And roads have designated lanes, is that right?
Yes.
And you would agree that there are certain responsibilities to do certain things in a particular lane, right?
Sure, yes.
The river, there's no designated lanes, are there?
No.
Sometimes everyone's going in the same direction, hopefully.
Correct.
But as far as lanes and designated spaces, it's a bit of a free-for-all, right?
It is a natural river,
And the
water
space,
can take you. The water will guide you where you need to go.
but the people that are on the river and have the ability to move amongst themselves on the river, they're free to go wherever they want on the river, right?
Yes.
And sometimes there might be some groups that are more dominant than other groups on the river, right? That happens?
Checked on relevance and speculation.
It's a stain on form, it's vague. Can you be more specific?
Are there, you rent tubes to lots of different groups, right?
We do.
As you said, some are perhaps younger teenagers, young adults? Yes?
From 6 to 106, yes.
And some are grown adults in their 40s or 50s, correct?
Of course,
Sometimes you rent to a group of 2 people, right?
yes,
Sometimes you rent to a group of 6 people
correct,
or 10 people.
yes,
And it all depends upon, there's different sizes of different groups, correct?
yes, sir.
And in your experience, there have been some groups that have been larger and louder than other groups?
Sure,
And sometimes there's other groups that might be quieter than other groups, right?
sure,
Maybe depending on the group that you're at, you might have different goals or objectives for the day, correct?
correct,
I'm sure, again, I mean, you're not encouraging you, but you're aware that there might be some groups that their goal and objective is to go there and get drunk, right?
sure,
You're aware of that, right?
I am,
And then there might be other people that are just there to enjoy a peaceful day with their friends, right?
yes,
And sometimes these groups interact, correct?
correct,
You would agree that the larger and the louder groups don't have any more right to be in a particular place than the quiet groups, do they?
no,
Do you give any messages that to the renters of your tubes to say like, look, if you see a loud and a large loud group, you need to back away and give them distance right away?
no,
Individuals have the right to be there just as much as everybody else, right?
correct,
So on the river, it is simple as, does might make right? If you're just larger and louder, you get a right to that spot or not?
I wouldn't think so, no,
Those are the only questions. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson, do you have anything else?
Since we're asking hypotheticals, I guess. If nobody owns any of the river, it's public.
correct,
You also wouldn't want somebody harassing another group of tubers.
no,
Nothing else.
Mr. Nelson?
Nothing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. You're free to leave. Is he still under subpoena?
Yes, sorry, yes.
He's free to leave.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Judge, this is just a blown-up version. Do you want me to just write 13 on it or put a separate sticker on it?
So the 8 by 11 is 25?
Or 25, I'm sorry, yes.
Mark the blow-up as 25A. Yeah, we can take care of that, perhaps later. All right, who is the next witness?
The state calls Ryan Nelson.
Mr. Nelson, please come forward. Stop right there. You come a little closer. Turn, face the clerk, raise your right hand. She will administer the oath.
Do you swear that the testimony you are about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Please have a seat in the witness chair.
Judge, before we begin, we have an agreement on a couple exhibits.
Okay, what's the agreement?
The agreement is that Exhibit 2, the video of the main video would be admitted, as well as the individual frames, which is marked Exhibit 3.
Is that correct, Mr. Terofsky?
Yes.
All right, so Exhibit 2 and 3 will be received.
And then we have an agreement that now, before we start taking testimony, we'll publish to the video.
You're going to play the video.
Yes.
All right. Members of the jury, you're about to see the video that they have been referring to. Please pay attention. Please listen carefully. Parts of it may be difficult to hear. The video that you're about to see is evidence, so you may consider this along with the other evidence during this trial. Mr.
Can we dim the lights a little bit?
Yeah, we've just turned down a bank or two over the monitor. Nothing happened.
It's up.
Did the lights go down?
No. They did over there, maybe?
Oh, no, try a different bank.
We only have two, sir.
How's that? Is that okay?
I think
Everybody
so.
see? Okay, I think that'll do it.
What is he on? Whoa! 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 Where's the way? Whoa! Oh God! We up! We up! What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? What? Get away from us! What? What are you doing? What's going on with y'all homie? He's on camera. Tripping. He's on 4K. Yo, the new iPhone got that good quality. What do you say? Yeah, what the hell? Who is this? Yes, yes, yes. For the culture! For the culture! Who is that? For the culture! Who is that? Who the hell is this? Go! Go! It doesn't matter. He said he was looking for little girls! He said he was looking for little girls! You're looking for little girls? Yeah! That's exactly what he said! Weirding us out! I even have that part on camera, did I? Some young ass kid! What the hell is this guy's problem, bro? We're trying to have fun. Is he gonna close you? He's gonna claim you! We don't want this motherfucker! Get on camera! Oh God! Oh God! He on camera! Oh God! He on camera! He ain't a woman! He ain't a woman! You ain't a woman! He ain't a woman! You got him! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? He's dying! He's dying, bro! What? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Are we serious? Is this real? Oh my God! Who is that? Oh my God! Oh my God! Is this real? Is this real? Oh my God! Oh my God! What the fuck? Is this real? Wait! That's not bike! That's not bike! That's not bike! That's not bike! That's not Isaac! Oh my God! Oh my God! This isn't real! This isn't real!
Bring the lights on. Jameson, or Mr. Smithstead, I'm sorry.
Can you say your name for the record, please?
Ryan Nelson,
And how old are you, Ryan?
18.
What do you do for a living?
I work in the trades.
Are you a drywall installer or something along
Yeah,
those lines?
drywall finisher.
Where do you live?
Stillwater?
Were you familiar with a person named Isaac Schuman?
Yes.
How did you know him?
He was one of my best friends
How long were you best friends with Isaac?
since middle school.
Do you recall the day of July 30th of 2022?
Yes.
Were you with Isaac on that day?
Yes.
Were you with him when he was killed?
Yes.
How old were you back on July 30th of 2022?
17.
Had you finished high school yet?
No.
What grade were you in?
Summer going into senior year.
On July 30th of 2022, had you made some plans to spend time with your friends that day on the Apple River near Somerset?
Yes.
What was the plan? How did the day start?
Well, we texted the night before and made plans to meet up and I'll go tubing on the Apple River.
Where did you meet up at?
Stillwater High School.
Who was in your group that day?
Me, Isaac, Owen, Jawan, Landon, Alex.
Judge, if I can approach the witness.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 62. You recognize that?
Yes.
Can you tell us what it is?
It's a picture of all my friends that were there.
Fair to say it's a composite picture.
Yes.
Are those pictures of you folks from the river on July 30th of 2022?
Yes.
Are those photos from after the incident with Mr. Miu?
Yes.
Does that explain the looks on your faces?
Yes.
Your Honor, permission to publish to the jury. I have a blow-up.
Any objection to 62?
No.
All right, 62 is received. Go ahead and publish. The other side might be easier because it doesn't have the paper.
When you got to Stillwater High School that day, was the plan to all ride together over to the Apple River?
Yes.
Who drove?
Alex Vang.
I'm going to have you look at Exhibit 62 there that you're holding on to. Can you identify the folks in the picture for the jury? From left to right.
Alex Vang, Juwan Cockfield, Owen Peliquin, me, Ryan Nelson, Landon Wire, and then Isaac Schuman.
That's Isaac in the hat on the right.
Yes.
Is that what you were all wearing on the river that day?
Yes.
You may have already answered this, but who drove from Stillwater over to the Apple River?
Alex Vang.
And you all went in his vehicle?
Yep.
Where did you go first?
We went right up to Park where we got the tubes. River's Edge, I think it's called.
You rented tubes there?
Yeah.
You remember how many tubes you rented?
One for each of us and then one more for our stuff, I believe.
All right. When they give you the tubes, are they connected together, or do you connect them together there?
You had to get a wire, like a twine to connect them together.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Did you make sort of one big raft out of your tubes?
Yes.
After you rented the tubes, did you get on the river right away, or were you hanging out in the park?
No, we went right straight to the river.
All right. Do you know what time it was when you got on the river?
Not exactly, probably roughly around noon.
Judge, if I can approach the witness again.
Yes.
Ryan, when you rented the tubes, do you remember who paid for them?
No.
All right. Do you remember getting a receipt?
No, I don't.
All right. I'll show you what's been marked as exhibit 27B. You take a look at that, and specifically look at the backside. Whose name's at the top?
Alex Vang.
Who's that?
He's one of my friends. He's on the river.
All right. At the bottom, there's a time for when you rented your tubes. Can you tell us what that is?
12:39.
All right. You didn't see this that day at all?
No, I don't remember.
Your Honor, I'll move to admit that exhibit. I don't know if there's any objection to it.
Any objection?
Well, there's no foundation, Judge.
Sustained.
We'll wait till.
That's fine.
Thank you. Once you got on the river, did you folks bring drinks with you
Yes.
in a cooler of some sort?
Yes.
What were you drinking?
Beers and seltzers.
All right. You're 17 at the time.
Yes.
Do you remember how many beers you had?
I personally had about 3 to 4.
Were you or other folks in your group smoking marijuana?
Yes.
Was Isaac Schuman smoking any marijuana?
I don't think so, no.
As you're going down the river, did you eventually have contact with the defendant, Mr. Miu?
Yes.
Do you know where it was when you first saw him?
Where the incident happened.
Sure. Were you near any landmarks that you can remember?
A bridge.
What was he doing when you first approached him?
Well, he first approached us. He was snorkeling by our tubes.
Did you ask him what he was doing?
Yes, multiple times.
And what did he tell you?
He didn't say anything.
Did he ever tell you he was looking for a phone?
No.
Do you ever remember hearing him saying anything about looking for little girls?
No, not me personally.
All right. Ultimately, did you approach your group?
Yes.
You were here when we played the video in the court right before your testimony.
Yes.
The first part of that video, did you see Mr. Miu running up towards your group?
Yes.
Is that the legs of a couple of your friends in that video, the first few seconds of that video?
Yes.
That's your raft of tubes?
Yes.
As Mr. Miu is running up on your group, did he say anything about why he was running towards you?
No.
Did he say why he was grabbing onto your tubes?
No.
Were you able to see on the video that he was reaching towards where the legs were of the two people in the tubes that you can see in the video?
Yes.
Did he make physical contact with those folks?
He didn't make physical contact with me, so I know.
Did everybody bail out of their tubes once he ran up?
Yes.
Did you have some concern when you saw him running up and grabbing onto your tubes?
Yeah, a lot.
Did he say anything at all after he grabbed onto your tubes?
No.
Were you sitting or standing in your tube when he ran up?
Sitting.
Did you get up?
Yes.
Why?
I was scared.
Were you trying to get away from him?
Yes.
Did you say anything to him?
Yes, we asked him what he was doing, and we told him to leave multiple times.
All right. Fair to say you were raising your voice and yelling at him,
Yeah.
like we saw in the video? Did you threaten him in any fashion?
No, not at all.
Did you hear Isaac Schuman threaten Mr. Miu in any fashion?
No.
Did you yourself have any kind of knife?
No.
Did you see anybody in your group with any kind of knife?
No.
Is it fair to say you were calling him some names?
Yeah.
Why were you doing that?
We had no idea of his intentions, and we asked him, and he never ever stated them.
At some point, were you yelling for him to get away?
Yes.
Did another group on the river come over to investigate what was going on?
Yes.
Did you know any of those people?
No.
Did you see where they came from?
Just the other side of the river.
Were they adults or were they kids?
Young adults.
Older than your group?
Yeah.
Once this other group came over, was it women or men, if you remember?
I believe 2 girls approached first.
All right, and what did they do when they approached?
Also told him to leave.
All right, did he leave?
No.
Once these other folks came over to tell him to leave, did that change your level of concern with what he was doing?
Yeah.
In what way?
It was a little confusing and also concerning why he wasn't leaving. He could have just removed himself from the situation like everyone asked him to.
Did he ever tell you why he wanted to stay near your group?
No.
Is it fair to say that at some point you and your friends were laughing at him?
Yeah.
And why were you doing that?
We thought he was just really weird, to be honest.
Do you remember how many folks were in the group that came over to help you guys?
No.
Do you know how many times you told Mr. Miu, or you and your group told Mr. Miu to leave you alone?
More than I can count.
All right. Your Honor, we're going to show still 1219 from Exhibit 3. All right, Ryan, do you see the picture that's on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
That's still number 1219 from the video. Can you tell us who's in this picture?
Isaac, Owen, and then I can't quite tell who that guy on the left is.
All right. Is Isaac, which one is Isaac?
Purple shorts,
Is he wearing a hat or not wearing a hat?
wearing a hat,
What is Isaac doing in this picture?
holding Owen. It looks like arm towards Owen and looking at Mr. Miu, maybe.
The person on the right, who's that?
Owen Pelican.
He was also in your group.
Yes.
What's he doing at that point?
It looks like saying something to Mr. Miu.
All right. Where were you when that, if you remember, where were you in location to this picture, or in relation to this picture?
I believe I was near Juwan and Landon.
Back behind the tubes?
Yep.
Joan's the person taking the video?
Yes.
1279. Now we're going to show still number 1279. All right, Brian, this is still frame 1279 from the video. What does this picture show?
Isaac with his hands raised.
All
towards
right, does
Mr.
he have anything in his hands?
No.
Who's that in front of Isaac?
Mr. Miu.
Are Isaac's hands open or closed in fists?
Open.
Can you tell, or do you remember what he was doing with his hands at that point?
No, just looks like he has his hands raised.
I'm going to show you now still 1297 from the video. Who was in this picture?
Me?
That's you on the left,
Yep.
holding onto the tubes.
Yes.
Mr. Miu on the right.
Yes.
Is that Isaac, part of Isaac's arm in that photo?
Yes, looks like it.
All right, do you have anything in your hand in this photo?
No.
Your other, referring to your right hand, your left hand you can't see, right?
Yeah, I didn't have anything in my left hand either, though.
2596. Showing you still frame 2596 from the video. Can you tell us what that is?
Me?
All right, and on the right, who's that, if you know?
I don't recognize her.
Is that one of the folks that came over to
Yeah.
help you out? Do you have anything in your hands there?
No.
At that point, you appear to be smiling.
Yeah.
While you were having this argument with Mr. Miu and trying to figure out what he was doing, were you able to see his face?
Yeah.
Did he look to be frightened?
No.
What kind of
Smiling.
facial expression did he have?
He was smiling.
While you were having this argument with him, were you able to tell whether he had anything in his hands?
No.
Did you ever see him holding a knife?
No.
Fair to say the video shows that the incident happened pretty fast.
Yeah.
While the two women are talking to Mr. Miu, what happened next? What did he do?
He punched one of the girls in the face.
You remember which one it was?
I believe the blonde one. Not
Right.
100% sure though.
And looking back at the photo that we have up, which is 2596, is that where you were standing when he punched the blonde woman in the face?
Relatively, yeah. Yeah.
So fairly close.
Yeah.
Prior to Mr. Miu punching the blonde woman, had you seen anybody strike him in any fashion?
No.
You didn't see anybody punch him?
No.
When you say he punched the lady, is it possible that he was flailing his arms to protect himself or something along
No.
those lines?
It looked like he struck her definitively with his right hand.
After the blonde woman was punched, what happened next? Did
I believe her friends tried to come to her rescue and push Mr. Miu to the ground and hit him and pushed him again.
you saw that?
Yeah.
Did you see him in the water?
Yes.
Do you remember how many times he was hit when he was in the water?
2 or 3 maybe, I believe.
Right. At some point, did he get on his hands and knees?
Yeah.
What happened next?
He got up, swinging his knife and stabbing everyone.
All right. At that point, did you know that he had a knife in his hand?
Yeah, well, I didn't know until I saw the person standing next to me who had his whole stomach cut open, and yeah.
The person who got his whole stomach cut open, was he holding any kind of knife?
No.
Did you see anybody in the group that came over to help you have any kind of weapons?
No.
What did you do after you realized that the one gentleman had his belly slit open?
I was in shock. I didn't really know what to do. I tried to tell my friends because I'd make sure they were seeing what I was seeing, and then I went and stood in our tubes.
You left the general area?
Yeah.
Were you aware that Isaac had been stabbed?
Not for like a minute.
Eventually, did you realize that Isaac was down?
Yes.
Did you see him in the water?
Yes.
Did you see a wound on his body?
Yes.
Where was it?
His upper chest.
Was he bleeding?
Yes.
Ultimately, did you and then the rest of your group or were attempts made to help Isaac get to shore?
Yes.
Who did that?
Owen and Alex.
All right, and where were you at that point?
I was still standing in the tubes.
Were you injured at all?
No.
Did you ever lay a hand on Mr. Miu?
No.
After you realized that folks had been stabbed, did you see what Mr. Miu did?
No.
Did you see where he went?
Mm-mm.
Is that a no?
Yeah, no. Sorry.
We're going to show you still frame 3177. Can you tell us who's in this picture that you know of?
The only person I recognize is myself.
All right, you're in the blue trunks in the middle.
Yes.
Is this the point to where Mr. Miu had punched the blonde woman?
Yes.
Did you take a step forward?
Yes.
Why'd you do that?
In her defense to help protect her.
All right. Did you end up doing anything to help protect her?
No.
I think you already testified some other gentleman took care of that.
Yes.
Whereabouts on her body did Mr. Miu punch the blonde woman?
I believe in her face.
Say that again?
In her face, I believe.
All right, at some point then, did you go to the area where Isaac was being laid on the shore of the river?
Yes.
Did you, the rest of your group also end up there?
Yes.
Did anybody call 911 if you know?
Yes.
Do you know who did that?
Not. I think a lot of people did. I don't know who specifically.
Were there some folks that stopped to render aid to Isaac?
Yes.
Was one of them a nurse?
Yes.
What kind of aid did she give Isaac?
I wasn't over there. I'm not sure.
All right, did you see anybody doing CPR on him?
I wasn't close enough.
All right. At some point, did the police arrive on the river?
Yes.
They waded through the water to get to where you folks were?
Yes.
Did you speak to the police officers
After. Yes.
up on the shore?
Yep.
At some point, was Isaac taken off the river?
Yes.
Was he ultimately put in an ambulance and taken to a hospital?
Yes.
Did you follow?
Yes.
Do you remember which hospital they brought him to?
Is it Lakeview in
right.
Stillwater?
When you were at Lakeview Hospital, did you speak with an officer there as well?
Yes.
Even though this incident happened almost 2 years ago, do you still remember the face of the person who did this?
Yes.
Do you see him in the courtroom here?
Yes.
You point him out and say what he's wearing?
He's wearing a black suit, black pants, brown shoes.
Your Honor, that's the record to reflect identification of the defendant.
Next question, please.
Nothing further.
Please show your prophecy.
Judge, the 9-second video is on Exhibit 2 also, which the state also moves to admit.
Any objection?
No, sir.
All right, it's received. Go ahead.
Very good. Okay, thanks. Do you need a break?
No, I just don't want it on the, can you, the jury shouldn't see my screen.
Okay.
It's cleared.
So, Mr. Nelson, you provided an interview with a
Clear it. Monitor's off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
with an investigator, Dittman. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And to start with, one of the things that Officer Dittman was interested in was how much alcohol you had consumed that day. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you told me you weren't going to get in any trouble for anything. You just wanted the truth, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you indicated to him, well, he initially asked you if you guys were drinking any hard alcohol, right?
Yep.
And you said that you weren't.
Yep.
That's a lie, right?
No, I myself was not drinking hard alcohol.
You guys brought Tito's vodka in water bottles and were doing shots on the river?
I wasn't, but my friends were. Yes.
Okay. And you were asked about Isaac drinking that day,
Yes.
right? And you had told Officer Dittman that you think you had 3 or 4 drinks.
Yes.
And you said, I think Isaac had about the same.
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that Isaac's alcohol level was almost a .22?
Object, Your
No,
Honor.
I was not aware of that.
Hold on.
Foundation.
Come on up. Objection overruled. Mr. Trofficy.
Mr. Nelson, are you aware that Isaac Schuman's blood alcohol concentration was a .219?
No, I was not aware.
Okay. But you say that you guys were about the same, right, in alcohol level?
Well, I was just a guess. He asked me to provide an estimate, and I did. I wasn't keeping track of other people's drinks.
Right, but you provided that your estimate and
Yeah.
your drinking and his drinking were pretty close.
Yes.
So you were impaired, yes?
Slightly, yes.
Okay. And you were asked and gave some answers regarding your initial contact with Mr. Miu. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Okay, and you had said, if I have it right, he snorkeled by us and didn't say anything.
Yep.
Okay. Your interview with Detective or Investigator Dittman, you indicated, yeah, so this weird guy, he was wearing a snorkel at first, came up to us and was kind of like talking to us, and we were a little weirded out, right?
Yep.
So which one's true?
I don't remember him saying anything.
Okay, so when did you give the statement to Investigator Dittman?
Was that the one at the bank or the hospital?
How many interviews did you give?
2.
When did you give them, if you remember?
One was on the bank after the incident, and then one was at the hospital.
Is your memory better back then about what happened, or is it better today?
I'm not sure.
Well, do you remember things that happened closer in time to the event, or as more time goes by?
I think I remember them both the same.
So if something happened 2 years ago, you would remember it the same as if you were giving that statement a day or two after?
Yeah, I would try.
Okay. So you don't recall him saying anything to you guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you all were saying something to him, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. You didn't tell that to Investigator Dittman, did you?
I don't remember.
You left out the fact that you guys started taunting him and tormenting him. right?
After we told him to leave, yes.
Well, talking about the first time, not the second time that we've seen the video. The first time we haven't seen the video for yet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that incident?
Yes.
Okay. You don't tell Investigator Dittman about what you guys were doing to Mr. Miu at that point, do you?
No.
Why not?
I just didn't think it was relevant.
You didn't think it was relevant on this person that you're saying did all these things to your friends? Wasn't relevant that you had contact with him earlier in that day?
It was like minutes, seconds before. It wasn't like earlier in the day. It was around the same time.
Right, and you didn't think it was relevant that you would inform him that you guys were taunting Mr. Miu and calling him names, right?
No.
Okay. I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibit number 2. I'm going to play you a short video and ask you if you remember the video.
Okay.
Okay?
We're going to keep the screens blank until you tell us you're ready. Does that mean you're ready, or are you acknowledging?
Yes, we're ready, Judge. I apologize. Playing the 9-second video on Exhibit 2. Trying to.
Grown man trying to have sex with little girls. What the hell? What the fuck? He's a raper. Whoa.
So he's walking by you guys. He's not right on top of you there, is he?
He was previously, but not that in that moment. No, he's not.
So your friend just didn't get that on video?
No, we started taking a video once he was being weird towards us. We wouldn't have videoed him just out of the blue.
So when he was just walking by there and your friend just started saying, you can't have sex with little girls, right?
That was after he was snorkeling under our tubes without saying anything.
Where do you tell Officer Investigator Dittman that he was snorkeling underneath your tubes?
By our tubes.
Oh, so by your tubes, not underneath your tubes.
Misspoke. I apologize.
Okay. So he's snorkeling by your tubes.
Yep.
And you guys start calling him names.
No, we asked what he was doing and who he was, why he was there. Because we found it a little weird that he was not in a tube like everyone else, but he was snorkeling right by our tubes. And so we asked him what he was doing. He never said anything. So then We started calling him names, yeah.
Okay. And the purpose of, you don't know him, do you?
No,
The purpose of calling a grown man that you've never met a raper.
that wasn't me.
Okay. The purpose of, do you know why that was said?
No,
To your knowledge, had Mr. Cockfield ever met Mr. Miu before?
no,
Okay. You think it was funny?
no,
Did you ever tell him to stop?
no.
Okay. And shortly after this is when Mr. Miu moves toward your tubes, is that right?
Yeah, when he runs at us.
Okay. And your statement to Investigator Dittman is that Mr. Miu was standing over your tubes. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know why he came up to your tubes?
No.
Was Jawan Cockfield holding a camera at that time?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, Mr. Miu walks, he comes up to your tubes, then he walks around the tubes and actually starts to walk away from you guys, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying, your group is saying, get away, go, and he's doing that, right?
Not really,
You just said he was walking away.
but he didn't leave. He didn't walk away. He just walked a couple of steps and then stayed near.
And you guys follow.
No.
You don't advance toward him? Your group doesn't advance
We
toward him?
stayed by our tubes. As you saw in the still frames, I'm standing right next to our tubes.
You showed us the still frame, or we saw the still frame involving Isaac Schuman, right?
Yeah.
When he's got his arms up in the air like this, right?
Yes.
He's not standing next to his tube, is he?
I don't know. He might be. He might be able to see this tubes in the picture. I can't remember.
He's confronting Mr. Miu, isn't he?
No, had his hands up, raised. He was telling him to leave also. There's no confrontation at that point.
I guess what I'm trying to ask you here, Mr. Nelson, is
Yeah.
you guys told him to leave, so he moves away from you. Then your group moves toward him. That's true, right?
I don't think we really, he left. You keep saying he leaves, and he never really left.
Can you just bring it? I'd rather just see the video. Sure. I'm going to show you, I'm just going to play for you a really short portion of the video that you've already seen.
Okay.
Okay? And I want you to tell me when you watch it if it appears to you that Mr. Miu is walking away from your group.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, wait, keep it out until he's ready. Hold on a second. Yeah.
Yes, we're ready.
So at 27 seconds, Mr. Nelson, I want you to watch this video first for a brief moment.
On camera. Guys, let's go. I'm 14. Yo, the new iPhone got that good quality. What do you say?
So he's walking away from where your tubes are.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, but at the end of the video, you can see him turn his body back towards us, and then I assume he walked back towards us.
You don't know if he did.
We could watch the rest of the video and find out.
Well, we will, but your group walks toward him, right? You keep saying they
Yeah.
don't, and it's clear they're moving in his direction, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And you're moving in his direction because you've testified that you're scared, right?
Our tubes were all still right around our tubes. That's our property. We're not, like,
How come you don't go around him? You've said that he could.
what do you mean?
Hold on. You said he could leave, right?
Yeah.
He could have walked away. You could have walked away, right?
Yeah.
You didn't walk away either, did you?
No.
And that river, anybody can use that river if we're being honest with one another, true?
Yeah.
Okay. So he doesn't have any more responsibility to walk away than you guys do, does he?
Nope.
Okay. And if I said to you that at some point, this other group starts coming over, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, are you guys calling him a pedophile?
I think, yeah, we were previously.
You were previously calling him a pedophile.
Like, yeah, we were shouting, and that's, I think, why they came over.
Okay. And, I'm sorry, you said you believe that's why they came over?
They heard us shouting, so I
Sure.
believe, yeah.
And certainly to you, shouting pedophile could be something that would draw people's attention, right?
Yes.
So, you don't have any information that he was looking for small children, do you?
No.
Okay. You'd agree, calling somebody a pedophile isn't the same thing as calling somebody like a jerk or an a-hole or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's like, you're telling somebody, or you're telling people, this guy's looking to have sex with small children, right?
I didn't say that.
That's what a pedophile is, though, you know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys, to a man you've never met before, have no information about, people in your group are yelling on the river that he's a pedophile. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And by your own admission, you believe that draws the attention of another group of people to come over.
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember independently, I know you've seen the video now, do you remember independently, he walks away from you guys kind of over to her, doesn't he? Like walking toward you. Is that true?
Yes.
And she, to your recollection, immediately tells him, go, get your fucking ass, go. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So, in terms of what you can see, she doesn't wait to find out what's actually happening either, does she?
No.
Right?
Yep.
She jumps into this and is yelling for Mr. Miu to go without knowing anything about what had happened based on the contact you had.
Yes.
Okay. And you describe her to police as, quote, getting in his face. Is that fair?
Yep.
What do you mean by that?
She was yelling at him to leave.
Well, you could yell at me to leave from here, right?
Yeah. She was close to him, right in front of him.
Okay, so I won't invade your space, but what in your definition of getting in someone's face is getting close to them? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. And is it in part based on the volume of her voice too?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I said to you, what you observed is this woman, her name is Madison Cohen,
Okay.
but she is close to his face yelling at him. Is that
Yes.
fair? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. And at that point, he's alone, to your knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's a yes.
Yes. Sorry.
And initially, there's 6 guys in your group,
Yep.
and you say that 2 females come over.
Yes.
Okay. More people come over as this continues on, is that true?
Correct.
Okay. So at one point, it's at least, if you know, it's at least 10, 12 versus 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you, well, can I ask you this? Do you believe that the situation was getting, that the temperature was rising in terms of the situation as time was passing?
Maybe a little. Yeah.
Okay, so it started out maybe here, and as time is going, the blonde shows up, it starts getting more and more heated, is that fair?
A little. Yeah.
Okay. So in a situation where it's getting more and more heated, would you agree that physically putting your hands on another person in that situation could be a show of aggression?
I'm going to object, Your Honor. That calls for a conclusion.
Sustained.
Did you see Madison Cohen, the blonde girl, put her hands on Nick Miu?
No.
Did you see her at any point move him or redirect him with her hands?
No.
Okay. Can you go to 139 for a minute? I do. Yeah. So you had said that his presence here made you afraid?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna show you, do you recall ever saying personally, in your contact, you got 10 seconds?
No, I don't remember saying that.
So you're not saying that you said it?
I don't remember saying that, no.
Okay. Do you recall other people in your group? Do you remember hearing that being said?
No.
Okay. To you is a statement, if I said to you, you got 10 seconds, is that something that you would take as a show of aggression?
Objection, Your Honor, it's same objection.
It's what?
It's the same objection. It's
Sustained.
Can you play the video? So I need you to listen to this,
Okay.
Mr. Nelson, and it might take more than once, but I want you to listen to hear if you hear someone in your group saying that, okay?
I'm gonna play from the 35-second mark to the 45-second mark. I think it happens at the 39-second, or the 39.
Please tell us when you're ready for the video.
Ready.
What do you say?
Did you hear that?
No.
Okay, can you play it at least one more time?
Playing again at 36 seconds.
What do you say?
So you hear somebody say you got 10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that, based on, that's not Mr. Miu talking, right?
No.
Okay, so somebody in your group is saying you've got 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. And at that point, are you still frightened?
Just more weirded out now.
Okay, so it goes from frightened to weirded out.
Yeah, he had moved away from us a little bit, so it was more scared when he ran at us and grabbed our tubes, and then it became more like, who's this guy? I'm more weirded out.
Okay. Did it go from then weirded out to not really afraid at all?
Yeah.
Right. There comes a point that you've seen on here where your group has kind of surrounded Mr. Miu, and you're all taunting and pointing at him, is that right?
I'm going to object, Your Honor, to the term surrounded. I think it's a mischaracterization of the
Come on up.
video.
Objections overruled. Mr. Shropshire.
So you would agree that your group had moved around him, and you watched the video, you're all pointing at him, taunting him, calling him a predator, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it fair to say at that point the fear has left you?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you personally feel more confident because the other group has come over?
Maybe a little.
Okay. So fair if I said strength in numbers, the more people that are around, the more confident you're becoming. Is that fair?
I guess I lost fear that he was gonna do something weird to us, yeah.
Okay. And the other people coming over helped you lose that fear?
Yeah, we didn't, yeah.
Because you had a lot of people around, right?
Yeah.
Now, can I ask you, I don't want to get too close to you, but you say that, if this is fair, Madison Cohen, blonde girl,
Yep.
is she in his face when she gets punched?
I would say she's at the same distance she was the whole time, so yeah.
Okay, so she's in his face, right?
Sure, yeah.
Would you say that's in his personal space?
Maybe.
Okay. So based on your recollection, she may be standing in his personal space yelling at him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, can you tell me, you said on direct examination that Mr. Miu punches her in the face with his right hand.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Yes.
You believe that to be true?
I believe he struck her with his right hand, yes.
Okay. Are you aware that at the time that he would have struck her, he was holding onto a knife?
No, I was not aware.
Okay. If I told you that fact is true, would that change your opinion?
No.
You would still say a man who's holding a knife struck her in the face with his fist.
Yeah, the knife is not in front of his fist.
Okay, so you think this is how, you think that the knife is in his hand and he comes across and punches her in the face?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember would he have hit her on the left or the right side?
The right side, I believe. She fell down towards the left. Or
Okay, so you
this. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Left side, I guess.
Okay, so you believe he's holding a knife in his hand and he punches her in the left side of her face?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see any marks on her?
No, I didn't. I don't think they had time to pee marks or really check before everything happened.
Okay, but you don't, my question is, you don't see her have any marks on her face, true?
No, I didn't check for marks.
Okay. And you say that she goes down, is that right?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to show you. Okay. You want me to do the JPEG or the 2644, the photo of it. Okay?
Okay.
So now at 2644, I think you've testified you're moving forward.
Yes.
Okay. I do. Keep going. Okay, right there. So we've gone from 2644 to 2653, right?
Mm-hmm.
That blonde is the girl that you said was punched in the face and went down, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you agree she's holding on to her drink? See that?
Yes.
And can you go one or two more, Aaron? Looks like she's got a cell phone tucked in her
Yeah.
trunks on the top. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. You'd agree she doesn't go down, right?
If that was the woman that was punched, then
Well, she's the blonde, right?
yeah.
Okay. So you'd agree now looking at this, she doesn't go down.
Yeah.
Okay. You believed that she did go down though?
Yeah, maybe it was just a stumble. I guess I'm not sure. My attention was quickly averted to Mr. Miu after that.
Okay. All right. You had provided information or a statement to Officer Dittman. He had asked you about any contact that Isaac may have had with
Yeah.
Mr. Miu. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you had indicated that you never saw that happen. You never saw Isaac make physical contact with Mr. Miu.
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen, you watched the video, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now you're aware that Isaac has his hands around Mr. Miu's throat?
I didn't know that he had his hands around his throat, no.
You didn't see that?
No.
Okay. Is that something that you saw?
No. That was pretty late. I think Isaac was the last one stabbed on video. And so by that time I was focused on the guy next to me who had his whole stomach cut open.
Okay, but I guess my point is, initially you say you didn't see Isaac make contact with
Yep.
him. You see on that video somebody with their hands around Mr. Miu's throat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't know if that's Isaac or not?
No. We can watch it again and I could tell you what I think, but I don't.
Is he wearing a bracelet, like a gold bracelet on his wrist?
I don't remember.
Okay. Now, can I ask you this? No, you'd agree with this. On that video, nobody is stabbed until Mr. Miu is punched in the face and knocked in the water, right? You agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you would agree that the people that are injured with the knife, that all happens after Mr. Miu has been knocked in the water, punched, slapped, pushed, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't attack Mr. Miu, do you?
No.
Okay. And he doesn't do anything to you, does he?
No.
That's all, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Smithstone?
Exhibit 3.
You want this?
So Ryan, Mr. Tropacy has asked you about Mr. Miu walking away from your group of tubes after he had run up on you.
Yes.
Did he walk downriver or upriver?
Back up towards that other group that.
I'm asking about when he first stepped away.
Downriver.
All right, and is that the direction your tubes were going?
Yeah.
So he was between you and the exit?
Yes.
You had indicated that you were holding on to the tubes. You didn't want to lose the tubes, obviously.
Yes.
You paid money for them. Was the natural flow of the river carrying your tubes towards him?
Yes.
A lot of questions about your memory. You do recall giving your statements to the police, right?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that this has been so long now that your statements to police were given when your memory was probably a little fresher than it is right now?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
Is your memory better now? Mr. Tropacy had asked you if your memory is better now than it was back then.
Yes.
All right. Do you think that you remembered things better when you first talked to the police or now? Or the same? I think you said the same earlier.
Probably the same, yeah.
All right. Do you recall talking to the officers about the names that you'd called Mr. Miu?
No.
All right. You might have done that?
Maybe.
Would it refresh your memory to see a portion or hear a portion of what you told the officers with regard to calling him a pedophile?
Sure.
And the point is, Mr. Tropacy asked you why you left out the fact that you called him a pedophile. Do you remember that? In fact, you didn't leave that out? Your Honor, can I approach the witness to show him a digital copy of the transcript of his interview with Investigator Dittman? It's a transcript that was provided by Mr. Nelson.
For what purpose?
To refresh his memory as to what he told Investigator Dittman about what they were calling Mr. Miu at the time.
You say had trouble remembering? I lost that if you did.
Mr. Tropacy indicated that Mr. Nelson, Ryan Nelson, did not tell police that they were calling him a pedophile, which I intend to refresh his memory to show that he did tell the police that at the time, immediately after the incident.
Any objection?
If he needs his memory refreshed, he can do that. Judge, I don't know if I missed it either, so.
Yeah, I'm not hearing the magic words is, I guess, what I'm driving at. That this is going to help him refresh his memory.
It's 2 sentences.
I think you're missing the point.
I'll move on, Your Honor. Is it possible that you told Officer Dittman or Investigator Dittman something back then that you don't remember now?
Yes.
And it would, being able to see a transcript of what you said, refresh your memory as to what you told them?
Yes.
Now can I do it, Your Honor?
On what issue?
I don't know.
Oh,
Sustained.
you got it.
Objection sustained.
Can we approach, Judge?
Yes. All right, let's continue. Mr. Smithstead.
Ryan, do you remember telling an officer what kind of names you were calling Mr. Miu at the time?
No.
All right, and if, can I approach, Your Honor? He's indicated he doesn't remember.
You have to ask him what will help him remember.
But if you saw a transcript of your interview with Investigator Dittman, would that help you remember?
Oh, yes.
Now you can approach.
Showing you a digital copy of the transcript, you can just read the highlighted portion.
No.
Don't read it all out, read it to yourself. That help you remember what you told Investigator Dittman?
Yes.
What did you tell him about the names you were calling Investigator Dittman?
I said we were all calling him a pedophile and saying this was weird and he needs to get out of here.
So that was that information you were trying to keep from the police?
No.
At that point, were you aware that there had been a video made by John Cockfield of the incident?
Yes.
Were you aware that the police had it?
Yes.
At the time that Mr. Miu ran up and grabbed onto your tubes, did he grab them in an area where some of your friends had their legs positioned?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
Where did he grab your tubes?
Where we were sitting?
Were there people in those areas?
Yes.
What parts of their bodies, if any, were close to where he grabbed?
Legs.
Did you know whether or not he was trying to grab onto their legs?
Objection speculation.
Sustained.
Mr. Chirafisi had asked you about someone in your group saying you got 10 seconds. Do you know who that was directed at?
No.
You know who said it?
No.
Did you hear it on the video when he played it for you twice?
Yes.
Did you hear Mr. Miu being described as the person who had 10 seconds?
No.
Mr. Chirafisi had asked you about whether you had less fear of Mr. Miu once the other folks came up. Why did you have less fear?
I believe they were going to help us and help us get him away.
Were these other folks kids or adults?
Young adults.
After the blonde woman, Madison Cohen, is punched, did you take the time to check to see if she had any injuries to her face?
No.
You've seen the video of the incident here today?
Yes.
You had indicated earlier, I think, that everything sort of happened right after that, right?
Yes.
Did you see where Madison Cohen ended up going after
No.
she was punched? You
No.
didn't? Did you, you indicated that you thought she fell down, and then on cross-examination, you said that she may have just stumbled backwards. Do you remember specifically whether she fell or stumbled backwards?
No.
But as you sit here today, is that what your impression of what happened was at the time?
Yes.
Mr. Tropsky had asked you about Madison Cohen, the blonde woman, being in Mr. Miu's face. I'm going to show you a slide, a still. It is number 2593.
Tell us when you're ready.
We're ready. Do you see that still frame from the video?
Yes.
Is this what you were referring to?
Yes.
Is that where she was located when he punched her?
I believe so.
Do you remember where you were in relation to this photo off screen at that time?
To the left side of the women, the right side of Mr. Miu.
When she was punched, did you hear an impact?
Yes.
When you gave your two statements to the police, both one at the riverbank and one at the hospital, did you tell them that he had punched her?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Mr. Shofsky?
We would agree that when Mr. Miu moved over to go talk to Madison Cohen, you could have all just went right by.
Yes.
But you stayed, right?
Yep.
And you were asked about just the 10 seconds, right? You got 10 seconds.
Yes.
You didn't believe that was directed at you, did you?
I didn't hear it.
Okay. Would it make sense to you that it would be directed at Mr. Miu based on what was happening?
I'm not sure. I don't know who said it.
Okay. And you said that your fear was reduced once more people came, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so, tell me if this is fair. When it was the 6 of you, you had, according to you, some level of fear. When it became 13, you didn't have any fear.
I had less fear, yes.
Okay. And you knew through this whole thing he was alone, right?
Yes.
Okay. So at one point you know it's 13 versus 1, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said that you remember Ms. Cohen falling, and now you think that might be incorrect. Is that true?
Falling or
The
stumbling.
blonde, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That you say she was punched and she fell.
Some sort of falling or stumbling motion, yes. I believe that's true.
Okay. you'd agree that she never dropped her drink in that picture, right?
Yeah.
And her phone doesn't leave her body, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Nelson, I appreciate your time today.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Nelson. You can step down. Is he released from his subpoena? No? Okay. Is there a coordinator here that can assist him? All right. She'll give you further instructions about what to do and where to go. Please leave the exhibit with the attorney.
All right, move for the admission of 62.
Any objection? 62 is received. Are there other exhibits that need to be addressed?
25, plus 25 admitted.
Yes.
We're waiting for some foundation on 27.
All right. Members of the jury, it's 4:30, so we're going to break for the day. In a moment, the bailiffs will take you out. I do have a few instructions for you before you leave. One, no discussion about this case with others, not amongst yourselves, not with the lawyers, not with the members of the public, not with the media. Do not talk about the case when you get home. I know it's going to be tough, but you have to decide this case only on the evidence presented at trial, and you cannot be influenced by others. Second instruction, no independent research or investigation. Do not go to the internet to look up things that you think may be helpful. Do not visit the site. Do not look at maps. Again, the attorneys have to present the evidence for you to decide here in the courtroom. Third, do not watch or read any media reports or social media posts about the trial. Frankly, you're getting a front row seat to this entire trial. Anything that you see on the internet could be misleading. The final instruction is come back tomorrow morning. We need you all at 8 o'clock before we can get started. The bailiff will give you new directions about the entrance. You're not going to come in the main door. There's a new door that you're going to come in. He will give you the instructions about where that door is. There's also special parking for you in the morning. Please use it so that you are segregated from the rest of the public. Please take the jury out.
All rise for the jury.
Chris, could you move the easel out of the way? Thank you. Please be seated. All right, we're outside the presence of the jury. The attorneys are present with Mr. Miu. Mr. Miu, is there anything for the record, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, tomorrow, there was a number of witnesses who were properly served, out-of-state witnesses through the interstate subpoena process. They wouldn't, I think there's 6 that wouldn't meet with us, so we expected them here at 8 a.m. today. They were not here today, so victim witness reached out to them and essentially said, if you're not here tomorrow, there might be a warrant issued. So my understanding is most, if not all of them by now, have agreed to come here at 8 a.m. tomorrow. I don't think we're gonna be ready for them by 8 a.m. tomorrow, but because they wouldn't meet with us, weren't here yesterday when they were, or today, sorry, when they were subpoenaed. My request would be, rather than, I mean, Your Honor could tell them to just wait here every day, or bring them in outside the presence of the jury, stress the importance of being here when either side asks for them to be here, and inform them of the potential consequences if they don't.
So tell me what you want me to do.
Just, I'd like them to hear from Your Honor that a subpoena is not discretionary, they have to be here. With all of our witnesses, we give them the courtesy of trying to plan when they're gonna be here.
Okay.
These people refused to meet with us, so they didn't, so they should have been here yet, today, they weren't. So I just like Your Honor to stress, if they're not here when either side tells them to be here, they could get a warrant.
Okay, so they're not going to testify tomorrow.
No.
They're going to be scheduled for a different day, and you want me to impress upon them the importance of honoring a subpoena?
Yes.
All right. and expect them to come back on a different day.
Yes.
All right.
I know specifically one of them is one we probably won't call, but I know defense will.
Judge, would you consider, I don't care how you do it, making them sign a bail?
I'd have to research it.
I think you can do that. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but I think you can do that. And my concern is if you impress upon them the seriousness of it and they don't come back, we're in the middle of this case and 6 or 7 witnesses are missing, some of which I want. So I guess it's just an option.
Yeah, I mean, what is it that you need before you can have them testify? And why not have them testify when they're here?
It's going to result in, I mean, we try to present a linear story to the jury and it'd be out of order then. And I frankly don't want to change how we present the case because witnesses who are supposed to be here aren't here.
I mean, it's your case, you present it how you want. If you're not ready for them tomorrow and they're here, I will do what I can within my power to have them come back on a different day. But if they're not here, your options may be limited.
Yes, understood.
Same with you, Mr. Shrophecy.
Understood. I guess at that point I would ask that you issue a material witness warrant, though I wouldn't be as forgiving. So.
All right.
Yeah, if I could.
Yes.
Kind of, at least Mr. Carlson, if he's here tomorrow, well, I'm going to serve him with our subpoena as well, and we're not going to release him. I have no reason to believe he's going to come back, so I feel a little bit bad about it, but I'm going to ask that he stay here until I need him, because I have the power to do that, and he's given me no reason to do anything other than that.
He's a Minnesota resident?
Yes, but he's been served by the state.
Right.
But once he's here, I can serve him here in person, once
Yes.
he crosses the state line, so.
Right.
Both of those things, and then everyone agrees he's a material witness, so.
All right, so we'll cross that bridge tomorrow. Anything else?
No.
Okay, Mr. Shrophecy?
We could have, maybe off the record, just who are the witnesses for tomorrow?
We can do that in a moment when we go offline here. One thing I just want to comment on is, obviously, the video and the still frames are going to be an important part to both of your cases. But I am concerned if every witness called is going to be commenting on what they see in the video. Oh, I see this, I see that. The jury is the ones who ultimately get to decide what they see in the video. So to have other witnesses come in and comment strikes me as being more argumentative than anything else. Both of you did it today, but I want that to desist. I want you to desist from doing so. Mr. Nelson?
Obviously, there's different ways to use it.
Yes.
You know, I see a manner in which we use it in the future to impeach them. They
Yes.
say X happened, and we want to show them the video to say not X. And so I would assume, I don't want to say free reign, but that's an appropriate use of
Yes.
the video.
Yes. I mean, for example, one question that sticks out in my mind is, I think it was with Mr. Nelson, do you see somebody else in the video holding up his hands? Do you see anything in his hands? I mean, the jury can see it as well as anybody else. So that's the type of question that I think is going to really slow us down and confuse the jury. If you need to use it for impeachment about their own testimony, that's fair game. If you want to question them about what they're doing and what is being depicted of them in the video, that's fine too. But for witnesses to be commenting on other things that they may happen to see in the video, apart from their recollection, outside of the things I've just described, I think would be a misuse of our time.
Your Honor, one of the issues with that is that particular set of questions, and it's going to come up over and over, that's Isaac Schuman, and he can't testify, obviously. So that's why I asked Mr. Nelson if he had anything in his hands. I can't ask him that. I can't ask Mr. Schuman.
I understand, but we can all see it.
Right.
It's plain as day.
I assume the same applies for law enforcement. We're not going to ask law enforcement what they see or saw in the video.
Within the confines that I've talked about, right? Right. Because otherwise, we're going to have, 40, 50 witnesses providing their interpretation and their opinion about what they think happened. Well, those interpretations and opinions are personal to them, but they're not relevant to what the jury has to decide. So I just want to stick to the facts, stick to the things that this jury is going to be tasked with doing. Okay. All right, that's all. I'll be back tomorrow and ready to go at 8 a.m.
It's yours.
Are you willing to share with your witnesses on it for tomorrow?
Got to figure